Hello, Warhawks. Welcome to another thrilling edition of Seminole High School Carnegie Math. Today we are covering Chapter 3-4. This will be the last installment from Chapter 3 that we're going to cover, and today the shapes are all about trapezoids. So our goals today, we want to identify the perimeter and the area of a trapezoid in the coordinate plane. These are trapezoids. You may have seen them before. What makes a trapezoid unique is that we have two sides that are going to be parallel to each other. We call those the bases. And we also have a height somewhere in here. Now, in this particular case, we can see anytime we're looking for a height, we want to find a 90-degree angle. So here we would have our base up top, we would have our base down here, and we would have our height right here. So that's one type of trapezoid. And then we have some that look like this, where we have our two parallel sides. Again, that's going to be your base, that's going to be your base. But I don't see a height in here, so sometimes we've got to draw a straight line down, and we have to create our own 90-degree angle so that we can find our height. Let's go ahead and look at some problems here. So the first thing we need to know is the formula for the area of a trapezoid. It's going to be right there. The area is going to equal the height times the base 1 plus base 2, or the two bases added together, and then we'll divide that by 2. Be very careful here. We see parentheses. You must add the two bases before you multiply by the height. If in your calculator you put a height times a base plus another base, it's going to do the multiplication first. But what we need to do is make sure that we add the two bases first. So again, we see these examples. Let's just put some numbers here to make this a little bit easier. We'll call this 5. We'll say that this is 9. And we'll say the height happened to be 6 in this case. So let's just go ahead and figure out the area of this trapezoid really quickly. So our formula, we're going to have the area will equal the height, which in this case, where the 90-degree angle meets the base, it's going to be 6 times one of the bases, which is 9, plus the other base, which is 5, and then we divide that by 2. So 9 plus 5 is 14. So we want to just go ahead and cancel that out. We can make it 14. Then we do 14 times 6. That happens to equal 84. And then the last step is to just divide that by 2. 84 divided by 2 is 42, and it's always measured in square units. So the area of that shape would be 42 square units. We're going to do some more examples, so I'm not going to worry about this one, but this would be your base, this would be your other base, and then for this example, we would actually have to draw in our own height and find those measurements. So let's look at one in the coordinate plane now. So the nice thing about these is when they have bases that are actually on an X and Y line, it makes it pretty easy because we can just count the length. So this base is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This base is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then our height here, we can see there's a 90-degree angle, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the area is going to equal this. Now go ahead and pause this and see if you can find the area, and then check back to see if your answer matches mine. So this is what your formula should look like. The height's 5 times base 1, 4, plus base 2, 7, divided by 2. Go ahead, start doing the math. Hit pause again. We add 4 plus 7 and get 11. We multiply 5 times 11 and get 55. And then we want to divide by 2, and we're actually going to end up with 27.5 square units for the area of that shape. Now, if we want to find the perimeter, it's just the distance around it. The nice thing about this one is we already have 3 of the sides, but now we just need the 4th side. So I went ahead and found out where the 2 points were located that create this side, and now we just need to use distance formula or Pythagorean theorem to find this. I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem, so I list how far is it from 5 to 8. That's going to be 3, so we do 3 squared, plus how far is it from 6 to 1. That's actually going to be 5. And then that will equal the length of that missing side. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 5 is 25. We add those two sides together. We get 34. And then we're just going to take the square root of 34. The square root of 34 ends up being 5.83, which I'm just going to round to 5.8. So now for the perimeter, we just go ahead and we add up the sides. 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 5.8 gives us a perimeter of 21.8 units. Not easy to write with a mouse. Okay, so there's the area, there's the perimeter. Let's look at another example here. So for this one, the bases are going to be easy to find because they're on axis, or axes, I guess I could say. So the length of this base is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the length of this base is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have that. What we don't have is the height. I don't see a 90-degree angle right now, so I'm going to have to draw in my own 90-degree angle to create a height, and the height's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and hit pause and see if you can find the area of this trapezoid on your own. So there we go. I went ahead and found the area. We have the height 4 times the base plus the other base, 6 and 11. 6 plus 11 is 17. I multiply by 4, I get 68. I divide by 2, and I get 34 units. Now we want to find the perimeter. So for the perimeter, though, we have 2 of the sides already. We've got 6 up here, 11 down here, but we need to find the length of these sides. So let's go ahead and find the length of this one real quick. The distance from 3 to 5 is going to be 2, so we do 2 squared, plus the distance from 7 to 3 is going to be 4. We do 4 squared. And then we do 2 times 2, 4 times 4. We get that. We add those together. We get 20. And then we take the square root of 20 to 4.5. So this side's 4.5. Now sometimes the opposite sides will be the same, but in this one they're not quite the same. So we do need to find the length of this side. How far is it from -3 to -6? That again is 3. So we do 3 squared. Plus, how far is it from 7 to 3? That is 4. So we do 4 squared. This ends up being a Pythagorean triple. 9 plus 16 equals c squared. Add those together, I get 25 equals c squared, and then the square root of 25 is 5. So this side ends up equaling 5. Now for the perimeter, we just add those together. 5 plus 6 plus 11 plus 4.5 gives us a perimeter of 26.5. So many of you know that maybe, or maybe you don't know, but I am having a kid soon, and the due date is November 14th for my kid. So make sure that you know that answer, because you may see it on a quiz, or we may offer some extra credit for that. I hope you have a wonderful night. We'll see you in class.